true. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Aaron Hammond today is one of the Tuskegee Airmen. Right, that was my, I'm sorry for that.
The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African-American military aviators in the United States Armed Forces. During the World War II, African Americans in many U.S. states still were subject to the Jim Crow laws, and when the American military was specially segregated was much of the federal government. The Tuskegee Airmen were subject to racial discrimination both within and outside the Army. Despite the adversities, they trained and flew with this distinction. Although the 477th bombardment group worked up on North American B-25 Michelle bombers, they never served in combat. The Tuskegee 332nd Fighter Group was the only operational unit first sent overseas as part of Operation Torch Seeing. The Torch Seeing action in Sicily and Italy before being deployed as bomber escorts in Europe, where they were particularly successful in virtually all their missions.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Now we have Simone Hammond. She's Madam C.J. Walker. Thank you. Yeah, we love
Sarah Bradlow was an African American businesswoman, hair care entrepreneur, and philanthropist. She made her fortune by developing and marketing a hugely successful line of beauty and hair products for Black women under the company she founded, Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company. Her parents and elder siblings were slaves on Madam Parish plantation owned by Robert Bruni. She was the first child in her family born freedom after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Madam C.J. Walker died on Sunday, May 25, 1919, from complications of hypertension. She was 51 at her death. She was considered to be wealthy the wealthiest African American women in America, and known to be the first self-made female African millionaire.
Thank the Lord for adding CJ Walker. Next, we have Miss Autumn Wall. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. We have Kai Hammond. That's Charles Drew. Now we have Charles Drew.
Charles Drew Charles Drew was an American physician. Medical researcher. He researched in the field of blood transfusions, developing improved techniques for blood storage, and applied his expert knowledge to developing large-scale blood banks early in World War II. This allowed medics to save thousands of lives in the Allied forces. The research and development aspect of his blood storage work is disputed to Drew protest against the practice of racial segregation and the donation of blood, as it lacked scientific foundation and action, which cost him his job. In 1943, Drew's distinction in his profession was recognized when he became the first black surgeon selected to serve as an examiner on the American Board of Surgery.
Now we have Miss Autumn Wall of Condoleezza Rice.